Welcome Libra Ascendant, Libra Rising. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. This video is going to be your June 2020. We're going to touch on the eclipses. I'm going to go into the first eclipse that happens in June, and then there's another eclipse that happens in June. After that second eclipse, there's then going to be a third eclipse, okay, in July. So I will give you the dates, I will give you the degrees, but we're really going to focus on the first June eclipse, and then I'll do different videos for those other ones because there's a lot of stuff, okay? I'm also going to talk a little bit about Mercury because Mercury transits at the end of May. Mercury leaves Gemini energy and it goes into Cancer energy. This is important when you know where Mercury is moving to because Mercury is how you think. So it has a lot to do with the way you're thinking, and then that has a lot to do with the way that you talk and the way that you relate and the things that you talk about, where your focus is. Remember, Mercury is information and knowledge. Mercury is the scribe. It actually keeps track of the data. It keeps track of the information. It writes the stories. Understanding Mercury a little bit better will be something I'll touch on because the North Node is transiting through Gemini energy. And this is a big part of our eclipse energy, all right? The North Node will be transiting through Gemini for the next 18 months. I have done a whole bunch of videos on that already, but I will be touching in on all of these things and trying to weave them all together to give you a greater, more complete picture of what you can expect in the coming weeks. Libra Ascendant, Libra Rising, this is your June all astrology. Okay, so June 5th, that's the first eclipse, June 5th, and this happens at 15 degrees Sagittarius energy. Now, if I were to look in your chart, we're going to find out where Sag is for you, okay? So this is in your third house. All right, so let's dissect the eclipse itself, okay? This is a South Node eclipse, okay? It is, which means it's a letting go. It's a release. It's a, I'm done with that. I've outgrown it. Goodbye. Now, do you say goodbye to somebody? No. But what do you say goodbye to? How do we figure that out? We see where it's located. It's in your third house. It's in Sagittarius energy, which tells us it's our beliefs. It's your belief about something because it's in your third house. Maybe it's a belief about the way you thought about something. Sag is the seeker of truth, the seeker of higher knowledge, right? Sagittarian energy represents continuing education. It's we've already graduated, we've done all this and that, so we go on to college, right? Sagittarian energy is I'm taking additional courses, right? I want to have knowledge. It's the seeker of knowledge. Sagittarians believe that they receive truth when they get more knowledge, right? So they're constantly on this search. It's that arrow that's constantly going up. So in your third house, okay, the third house location is all about how you communicate, how you relate, and how you think. You know, like if we were to meet, it'd be like, okay, you talk, think, and speak like a Sagittarian would, okay? So in other words, philosophy, you'd be someone who could sit there and have a conversation about that, right? Philosophy, religion, spirituality, travel, okay? These are all Sagittarian topics. The law, right? And freedom. Freedom is a big deal. When we talk about Sagittarius in the third and the eclipse energy and saying I'm letting go of something, it's a South Node lunar eclipse, so our emotions are involved. It's lunar. It's a full moon eclipse. So find out where is 15 degrees Sagittarian energy in your chart. Now I'm asking you to look at your chart because you may have a natal planet there. I don't know. I don't have your chart in front of me. This is a general reading. All right. If you want me to look at your personal chart, we can do that. You need to comment below. Say, hey, G, I need you to look at this for me because I don't know if I have something there. Or, hey, G, I have my chart and I'm looking and I'm not sure about this. Can you confirm or can you deny this for me? I would like to know. Because if you have something that matches that degree, and now we'll do a 2-degree orb. So that means Sagittarian energy at like 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 degrees, you're going to feel it more strongly, okay? And eclipses are reset buttons. It's a switch. It's about letting go of some emotional thing. Because it's in Sag, which is our beliefs, we have to understand the opposing energy, all right? And the opposing energy is 15 degrees Gemini. Again, Mercury is the ruler of Gemini. So if you can understand Mercury, you understand Gemini. all right, which is why we're going to talk a little bit about Gemini energy. Gemini energy is how I communicate and talk and think. It's how I relate. The people in my life are going to be people who are in my immediate environment. Those are the folks that represent that energy. So that could be coworkers, that could be siblings, that's peers, right? People in your immediate environment, that's your neighbors, next door neighbors, people in your community. The relating, the communicating, the thinking. Gemini is very quick. Gemini is the bringer of information. So find out where the Sag is in your, or where the Gemini energy is, okay? It's at the opposite of your Sag, okay? So if your Sagittarius energy was in your third, then you have Gemini energy up there in your ninth house. So your Gemini in your ninth, the way you think about Sagittarian stuff, okay? Because Sagittarian stuff is, Librans have what some people would call like a flipped chart, because you've got similar energies, right? You've got Sagittarian energy in your third house, and you've got Gemini energy up there in your ninth house. Well, the ninth house is Sagittarius energy, and the third house is Gemini energy. So you have both energies in both places. So it's almost like it's the same thing happening at both ends, right? So the release is in your third house. So you're releasing the way you used to talk, the way you used to relate, the way you used to teach. Remember, Sagittarians, they're the teachers, right? They're the gurus. You're letting go, like that's changing. It's no longer going to be. Or it could be maybe you were like one of those people who like to stay in school all the time, like the professional students. Maybe that's ending for you, okay? So it's you're thinking about that, but because it's Sagittarian and because the eclipse is there, that's changing. Now we go to the opposite side. That ninth house is also the same thing. It's that Sagittarian energy, but it's also now with Gemini. So what does that look like? I can give a great example for this. I have a friend who has this in their chart. They're Libra rising. So they've got the Gemini energy up there in their ninth house. And so they're wondering, okay, like, because they're a teacher. They teach college education, actually. They're wondering, oh my gosh, what's going to be happening? Like, are the institutions going to be empty? Well, when we understand that the North Node is in Gemini, and that's your ninth house, and the North Node is going to be in Gemini for the next 18 months. And the North Node represents our future. It represents where we're going to be focusing our life, right? Our thinking, our talking, our relating, our communicating, our teaching, and our learning for the next 18 months. It's in that ninth house of higher learning. So for that person, they likely will be continuing education, whether they are learning or teaching it, but it'll be locally. Okay. Now, luckily for her, she is a college educator at a local community college. Community college, like the Sagittarian energy down there in the third house would be going away to school, right? Because it's Sag. I have to get in my car and I have to take a long trip to go there, right? Students who have to drive 2 hours to school, they go away to school, they stay there, they live in the dorm. Those are universities, right? So we're going to see, because the South Node is there, that's going away. We're going to see less and less of that. Now, remember, this is just for the next 18 months, okay? The nodes move, all right? And they're going to then move into, well, actually, they're going to then move into Scorpio and Taurus energy, which will be very interesting because this is money. This is my money, our resources, our values, my values and your values. Anyway, that's for another time. But for her, because the North Node's where we're going and she teaches at a community college, you know, realizing that Gemini is trades, right? So we're going to see like, you know, it's trade, it's business, it's commerce. So it's local businesses, local schools, local teaching. All of that is where the focus is going to be. So for her, she's probably going to be in a really good place. Because think about it, with a virus that we are, you know, we're in the middle of a pandemic, there's no vaccine. How eager are you going to be to want to send your child off to school? And then have them come back, like at Thanksgiving and Easter, knowing they've been exposed to a buttload of people. If you're a parent, you might be second guessing that, which takes us back to Mercury. Because Mercury is how I think, how I relate, how I talk and communicate. Mercury goes into Cancer energy, okay? And so when Mercury goes into this Cancer energy, this happens at the butt end of May, by the way. When Mercury goes into Cancer, Cancer is my family. It is home. It is my physical home. It is my mental, you know, it is my emotional home. But it's, you know, it's mother, being the mom, looking out for your children. And so there may be people, there may be kids, you know, our 2020 graduates who are like, I've got these plans, I'm going away to school. We may see a lot of that changing because Venus is Venus is in Gemini all the way until August. And being there, she retrogrades there. And so whenever we have a retrograde, it's a rethinking of something. It's, give me that file and let me look at the notes again. I need to have another look at this. There is something I missed the first time, right? And so we keep thinking something over and over because we know there's something we've missed. And that's exactly it. Mercury's the details. There's some detail we missed. And so when we have a retrograde, we see it. And so Venus is all about what I value. And when Venus is done with her retrograde, she's like, okay, I know what I value now. I have a very clear idea of that now. I was thinking, I was teetering, I was like, I wasn't sure. But it's like things are cleared away. And so there's clarity. Things have been simplified because that's what Venus is all about, things being like simple but yet elegant, right? Venus is all about, it's all about what I need, but at the same time, she wants it to be beautiful, right? So she's able to clear things away, to hold on to what she values, and then somehow add peace and balance and to beautify things. So this is all part of this picture. This is all of 2020, right? And it began in 2019. So this takes me to Mercury. Mercury being in Cancer energy, and Cancer is my family. Now, in the month of June, Mercury will go retrograde in the sign of Cancer. Okay, what does this have to do with the eclipse? Well, everything, because when we're talking about education and sending kids away to school, right? And mom, right? And what do I value, right? It's like, okay, do I want to send someone away and then have them come back and oh my gosh, they're like, is it worth it? Honey, can we spend the next year at home instead? You want to like maybe, take online classes or at least try some community college classes. It'll be cheaper, it'll be safer, I would feel better, it'd be less stressful on everybody involved, and it's probably just a really smart thing to do. Knowing all of this helps to understand that when we take a look at your Cancer energy and the thinking transition, your Cancer energy for Libra, Ascendant Libra rising is your 10th house. So family, your highest hopes and goals and ambitions in the world, and where you are this authoritative being, like you were born that way, you came in with this knowledge, it's where you express your best. Understanding your tribe and how to take care of your tribe, how to nurture your tribe, how to take care of your children, how to be the mom, right? How to give nurturing. This is you. This is where you express your best. And so understanding that and really honing in on that and developing that more, because your idea of how you were able to nurture others before, it's been revamped. And so Mercury going retrograde there helps you to see how you can take it to the next level, okay? It helps you to see that sometimes you can give things to people and you're doing it in ways many times when you don't even realize it. And so retrograding is this, I'm rethinking that, and I'm getting an aha, not only of how I'm nurturing somebody else, but how I can better nurture myself too in that process. Again, if you need more information, comment below, or if you are further along in astrology, just find out where your moon is at, and that will help fill up the meanings in that 10th house for you to understand how you expressed your best, okay? And if you don't know what that meant, just ask me, and I can then further, explain it. You're letting something go with that June 5th eclipse. It's attached to your belief systems and your emotions, and it's being squared. The next thing you need to know, number 2, is the Gemini energy a little bit better. Okay, so that Gemini energy takes place all the way over in your 9th house, and again, it looks so similar to your 3rd house because it's the same energies. Okay, so rethinking how it's your beliefs about teaching, your beliefs about communication, your beliefs. Remember, Gemini is social media. So when we look up in that 9th house, and 9th house being traveling, right, long distances and journeys, and communications, it's using social media to do that. It's using the internet to teach. It's using the internet to touch in with those who are far away, right, because that's that 9th house. Touch in with people you could have never gotten to because you've never left the country. But yet you can touch in with folks from around the world now, right, because we have touch of a button. Think about that, okay? There might be some stress and tension because the third thing you need to know is Mars, all right? At the time of this eclipse, Mars is at 15 degrees exactly in Pisces energy. So yeah, this is a big T-square because it's the mutable energies all at the same degrees. Now your Piscean energy is in your 6th house, Okay, so your 6th house is your health. Your 6th house is your work. Your 6th house is also your hygiene and your pets. So this is you want to know if you have planets there, okay? Because remember that Piscean energy, it's ruled by Neptune, and Neptune signifies the virus and the pandemic and all that. That's that Neptune energy. And Mars is our physical body, okay? So Mars is frustrated here. And it was here in May, so it's not something new, but it's at 15 degrees squaring the sun in one way, and then it's at 15 degrees squaring the moon at the other way. And that big T square, okay? So it's like we have the Gemini thinking and logic and information, and then we've got the Sagittarius truth and what I believe, all being squared by Mars, okay, and challenged by Mars, who's in Neptune, and Neptune is the murky waters. So it's a challenge of what is true. It's again, truth against information. Where is the truth within this information? I'm having a hard time seeing it. I'm having a hard time finding it. This is a transit, which means everybody will be under the Neptune spell because the planet Neptune is also at 20 degrees, okay? It's at 53, 21 degrees in Pisces at the time of the eclipse. And Neptune's hanging out there. It moves really slow, so it's going to be there for a while. But see if you have something. See if you have a planet or a point at 20 degrees in either Gemini or Sagittarian. Likely your thinking is very delusional. And I mean that in the best way. It's because we have clouds of confusion and illusion on purpose. It's to teach you how to have a higher level of discernment, how to truly see the truth. I know everybody has a different understanding of the truth and a different layer and meaning, different belief, and that's fine. But this is just what Neptune does. It puts on these rose-colored glasses and it says, okay, now can you see that? And it's giving you a pair of glasses that you can't see shit through. And it's like, well, why can't you see that, right? And so we have to experience, we have to live, we have to relate, we have to do all this shit before we finally see, after a lot of living, we're like, oh, okay, I was way off mark on that one. I thought this and it was that. And this is that time for all of us. So just be a little bit patient with yourself. And that brings in the next part of this, which is to have, you know, the best thing you can do with Neptune energy is to tap into your higher self. Make sure your connectivity, make sure you're taking time out for you to connect to source. And if you don't like that word, source, or if you know, creator, God, spirit, whatever your thing is, you know, even if that, you know, here's the thing. If that's not your bag, right? If you're not into religion, if you're not into spiritual stuff, then be in the creative space. Because when we're creating, we're connecting. Next eclipse, June 21st. All right, June 21st. And it's going to be at 0 degrees Cancer. Now, this is a cardinal eclipse. It basically, without me going into a whole lot of details about it, because I'll put up another video going, like showing it astrologically on paper for those who really want to dive deep. It just means a new beginning, bottom line, because that's what cardinal represents. Cardinal energy is a new beginning. Now, this is a big reset, though, okay? This is like, remember, eclipses, not only, what makes them a reset button, like someone's pressing a button, like there's a divine hand that comes down and presses this button. It's this reset because all of a sudden there's this flip, there's this change that happens. But it happens in everybody. So it becomes like this quantum elevation, right? We all of a sudden see things differently. And it gets us closer to the truth. Like we see more pieces of the puzzle, right? You have more pieces and then you get closer to the real big picture of what it's supposed to be. And that's what happens here. We're getting assistance. Because it's 0 degrees Cancer, okay? 0 degrees is this kicking off point. And it's Cancer energy, which has to do with past emotions, past family, past connections. And it's like we were carrying around stuff that we didn't realize it was weighing us down, and we're releasing it. We're letting it go. And with that let go, there's this ability to start new and to start fresh and to build new connections, to build new family ties, so to speak. Oh, by the way, your Cancer energy. I already told you where your Cancer energy was, but I'll reiterate, it's in your 10th house. So what that does is that resets your goals. This is a reset for your ambitions. This is interesting. I like this setup. All of a sudden, you see something you didn't see before, right? There's a major rehaul here. Find out what's in your 10th house. Like, where is 0 degrees Cancer? See if it's on your IC, like up there. If it is, this would, or I'm sorry, your MC. This would be a really big deal. Well, it would be, anyway. See if it's on your MC, because this could mean a new career, without a doubt. It's a kickoff point, that means. Obviously, understand that when something new begins, that means something old ended. Okay, so the next eclipse, the last thing, is the third one, which is just 2 weeks later. It happens in the sign of Capricorn. Okay, it's like 13/14 degrees of Capricorn. Your Capricorn energy is occurring in your 4th house. Follow the degrees, find out for sure where's 14 degrees at, see if you have a planet, see if you have a point. If you have a planet or a point, okay, remember we're using the 2-degree orb because that's what we're using for eclipses. So at 13 or 14, that means we're looking at 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 degrees roughly. If you have something there, comment below. I can give you a little bit more information to help you better understand what else is involved, because each planet represents more meaning, all right? And it's just that simple. I can just comment back to you and let you know. So this 4th house placement is well, it's home. That's what the 4th house is. But it's also work because it's Capricorn, so it's working at home, okay? So maybe because it's in Capricorn, I'm saying maybe, and it's an eclipse, here's something I wrote down. I have to remember to share this with you. I want you to think back to 2013, 2014. 2013, 2014. This eclipse, okay, is touching this 13, 14 degrees. This is where Pluto was back in 2013 and 2014. So that means that Pluto began something there. And now the eclipse is coming in and saying, okay, this is a continuation of that. Even though it's a continuation, because it's the last eclipse for the Cancer Capricorn energy, it's I would have to see your personal chart to actually, completely, totally 100% say it's the last major structural change in the home. Because structural changes won't be finished until Pluto gets out of Capricorn. And depending upon how much Capricorn you have in your 4th house will tell you that. All right, so 4 more years of Pluto in Capricorn. Remember, folks, Pluto takes stuff out by the root, gets rid of it, and it's literally out of nothing comes something. That's Pluto energy, all right, which means something ends without a doubt. And so for people who have planets there, this could be very big, like they literally lost where they lived, okay? Again, comment below. I can give you more information. So understanding those degrees, and as always, any of the degrees that I've mentioned in this video regarding the eclipse, always explore the opposite energy of it to see if you have something there. So if this is Capricorn at 13, 14 degrees, you then want to look at your Cancer energy at 13, 14 degrees. And that goes back up to your 10th house again. Okay, because that's your career, that's where the Cancer energy is, and that's where you had your 0 degrees Cancer eclipse, that new beginning. So you see how astrology works. It is an evolution. It is a growth. It is, okay, there's a next step to this. It's a progression. That's what it is. It's a study of cycles, but the progression of evolutionary cycles. All right, Libra, I hope this has helped. You got any questions? Comment below. Take care. Bye.